and welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my asexual life. This is the place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that great big subscribe button right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live, like now, or post a new video. So, in a moment, I'm going to be taking a viewer question and answering it. I did answer this also in the comments, so you might have been fortunate enough to see this. Their question is, do I ever wish I was Aromantic rather than Alloromantic? We'll be going into that in just a moment. First of all, if you didn't know who I am, if you're new here, I'm Sandra Bellamy, author of this awesome Asexual Perspectives 47 Asexual Stories books. So don't forget to go to the description and grab a copy of that. And I'm also the author of Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook, which is told in a superhero style, so always worth a definite read, autobiographical. So link is down below in the description of that. So yes, thank you to all my wonderful subscribers, new subscribers here. You might have noticed this show's earlier tonight, and I wanted to make sure some of you were able to watch the show. I had a viewer question. I was kind of burning to answer it, right? So the viewer question is, do you ever wish you were aromantic rather than alloromantic? Now, what does an aromantic mean? If you're new to the term aromantic, many people pronounce it as aromantic, and it means absence of romantic attraction. Now, you can get aromantic asexuals, so people who are lacking in romantic attraction and people who are lacking in sexual attraction, and you can also get aromantic sexuals, those that lack romantic attraction but still experience sexual attraction. And an alloromantic person is often used in the asexual community, and alloromantic means basically all romantic. So basically means that you're definitely a romantic person, you experience romantic attraction, and it's the opposite to someone who's aromantic and experiences no romantic attraction, although there is a spectrum of aromantic people, ranging from pure aromantics who experience no romantic attraction to a grey romantic that experiences little to no romantic attraction and not usually enough to want to act on it. Then it goes to the demi-romantics. They do feel romantic attraction, but only and if and when until a deep emotional bond has been formed. Usually it needs to be reciprocated as well. And also there's also cupioromantic. So that person, cupioromantic, doesn't experience any romantic attraction, but they hugely desire a romantic relationship. And so those that you could get those type of people, whether they're aromantic asexuals or whether aromantic sexuals, right? But so an aromantic person, to be plain and clear, is someone who does not experience romantic attraction, and an alloromantic person is someone who does experience romantic attraction frequently, and obviously they're definitely a romantic person, right? In my case, I'm on a complete another level with the romance because I'm what's known as a hyperromantic, right? So hyperromantic is smaller in numbers. It's a like minority of the minorities, right? So in terms of asexuality, so you've got like asexuality, which we're supposed to be 1% of the population, recorded 1%, but it's usually more than that, I think, in terms of like there's a lot of people that aren't out yet. So I believe that probably it is higher than 1% of the population, but that's what we've got to go on at the moment because that's kind of the only statistics that they've done so far. So if we work on that, it's 1% of the population. That is 1 in every 100 people you meet, so that's still quite a lot of people really in the world, thousands and thousands, right? And basically I'm hyperromantic, so I'm kind of like really a minority within that minority. A hyperromantic is someone who's excessively romantic. Like for me, I look at life through rose tinted glasses, romantic tinted glasses, if you like. So for example, like you can see the cuddly toys in the background. I think they're so cute and sweet, and I find them quite romantic, you know, because they are cute and sweet and stuff. I find going to places like, you know, like Disneyland Paris, I find that so super romantic. So I feel romantic with myself. I don't have to have anyone involved to feel romantic. I don't have to feel I do feel romantic over people, but I don't, you know, I'm also feeling romantic just with myself. If I go to the movies, for example, on a self-date, I feel romantic. I feel excitement, I feel wonder, I feel awe. I feel like I'm going to a Disney, like just the cinema, the magic of the cinema to me is like going to Disneyland. It's really hard to describe, but I just kind of lose myself in the moment if I can. Not always. My head sometimes goes woo woo, but the actual whole atmosphere of sitting in the cinema, having the big screen, is kind of really cute and really fun and romantic, even with myself. And I'm like, oh, I'm here on a date with myself. And so I self date, and it feels really good for my soul. And I kind of like really love being with me. And so I used to be very negative years ago about the way I looked, but I'm very positive now. I think I really look good, and I like, even I like dressing up for myself. So I used to go to London years ago, and I would dress up and go to the theatre on my own, and I'd wear really nice clothes, maybe a dress, and that's just for myself because I want to look gorgeous for myself, take myself out on a date. Why not? But I can think anything looks romantic. So I could think a gnome looks romantic, like I would, like a stone gnome. It's like, how can a stone gnome, because it's like so cute. And so I think minions are cute, and so I'm into all the cute and sweet things. I like sparkly things, coloured boxes. I like to live my teenager lifestyle, as so all my cuddlies here, they're so cute and they make me feel great and magical and special and romantic. So and you notice I keep stroking my hair because I'm like, oh, I'm feeling romantic about my hair at the moment. Isn't it pretty and nice? Because I've just had a shower and it's all cute. Look, I got my Disneyland t-shirt on as well. So this is like, whoa, beautiful. I love a bit of sparkly stuff. I really do. So, and so I feel excessively romantic. And for me, being a hyperromantic, I'm going to tell you another minority of the minorities. You probably already know this about me if you watch this channel, but if you don't, I don't experience any platonic attraction, which is very, very rare for an asexual person. Many asexuals experience platonic attraction. I don't experience any platonic attraction, and I'm a hyperromantic. So this means I skip the stage of, oh, hi, we can be friends, and mean it. Like having no feelings for that person. I automatically usually have an attraction for guys that I talk to that come into my life. Some type of attraction, usually. Most of the time. And if they're older guys, no. But most of the time I don't connect with older guys, I don't, but sometimes for business I will connect with older guys, but the majority of the time I still connect with guys that I would be attracted to, I guess. That's like, Indian, for example. So, I kind of like get attraction, aesthetic attraction. But in terms of romantic, I don't feel romance over every type of thing. Hello, Liam. Hello, beautiful Sandra. You're stunning as always. Oh, bless you, Liam. Lots of love to you. Lots of love. Appreciate you being here. You're seeing me in light today because I'm streaming earlier, so I thought it'd be nice to see me in some light. I'm feeling really good, and I kind of wanted to have that energy, So I'm feeling, like good in myself at the moment. So I've been like having a good day. Not this morning. I wasn't good this morning. My mind was not great. I had to deal with some personal stuff going on, which had nothing to do with what's recently happened, but I had kind of all that going on. It might have impacted it. But anyway, this afternoon, I've had my shower. I've been putting some music on. I've been making myself feel good and feeling romantic, which always helps. And so, as a hyperromantic experience, there's no platonic attraction. It means I get attraction for people, and I can experience multiple attractions, different attractions for different people. Now, with all this in mind, and the fact that I don't experience a platonic attraction, and I can get love feelings very quickly for someone, especially if I've got deep emotional connection with them, if I connect to people quite quickly emotionally these days, and also there's certain ways people are that just make me more romantically attracted to them. If I'm just aesthetically attracted to them, I don't get so affected by them. If I'm romantically attracted to them, then I do. Because it's a romantic, emotional and romance kind of go together for me, really, usually. If I'm romantically attracted to someone, I've usually got some sort of emotional connection to them the majority of the time. But if I've got a definite, strong emotional connection and romance, that's kind of like, poof, kind of explosive in terms of feelings, right? And so, as in it's quite impactful on me. And so, I, as someone who, I trained myself to not actually just, so I would just get, if I got love feelings, it's different to like, I full on love you. And I trained myself so I wouldn't ever start thinking I full on love you. And then obviously what happened recently is I found someone who I thought was my soulmate, and I was mistaken about that person. So, that had to end, and it's for the best. Clearly we have to move on. And so, that was interesting. but you know, I have to have no contact with that person now, because I can't, as a hyperromantic with zero platonic attraction, be talking to that person, because those feelings won't ever go. And for me, as a hyperromantic, sometimes if I meet up with the person years later, all the feelings will just come back as though they've never left. And that's kind of scary in a way. It means that I can't really be in conversation with any of my exes, not that I would want to be anyway, because they weren't good for me usually. You know, so it's kind of like you've got a lot to deal with as a hyperromantic that experiences no platonic attraction. So when this person on my channel asked me, would I prefer to be aromantic or alloromantic, I'm not even just alloromantic, I'm a hyperromantic, right? And so some of the painful stuff, like I said, is you can get love feelings for someone quite quickly sometimes, and if they don't reciprocate, that can hurt, right? But you kind of get used to the rejection. But also if they do reciprocate and then things don't work out, it kind of like feels like you're cut with a knife, not literally, but the feeling is kind of very like a relationship breakup. Even if you weren't fully together, it's very hard to describe. It's kind of like you're cut in two, you know, like it's very difficult and very painful. And also being a hyperromantic that experiences no platonic attraction, that has attraction for their friends and stuff, I don't want to feel like that, but I have to be self-aware and understand this is what I'm like. And so, you know, it's very much of a headache sometimes. I can't really be close friends with too many guys, and I get on better with guys in general as a whole, so I tend to have more guy friends. But you know, any friends I tend to have either some aesthetic attraction, well usually it's aesthetic attraction more than anything, more than romantic, but I can get some romance for some of my friends. And it's just really annoying, because it's like I'd rather actually be in a relationship with one person than multiple. You know, I don't want to be with multiple people. However, I guess you could argue that it keeps you a bit more safer, because you're not putting all your eggs in one basket, and you're not like completely saying I can never be attracted to anyone ever again. I guess that's a healthy perspective, is saying I could still be attracted to someone again. You know, if someone doesn't value my worth and they, you know, they go from my life, then it's not the end of the world, because I've kind of got I could have other options later on, for example. You know, usually there's no reciprocation there the majority of the time, so it's not like I've got tons of options, and I do prefer to just be with one person. As a hyperromantic, sometimes when you have one person, it's usually better, because you can focus on that person, you can give all that love to that person, but still love your friends in the friendship way, right? And so it's kind of like, you know, I prefer really to calm down rather than be on dating sites and dating apps and all this type of stuff. I'd rather just be in a serious relationship in that way with one person but I need them to love me as much as I love them and be really into a serious relationship and want to be with me. It needs to be two-way, you know, because only then can you be kind of safe, secure, and know where you're going, right? You've got to be intentional about what you're doing. And so otherwise it's better to stay single. And then if I like different guys, it doesn't really matter, does it, being single? So, you know, these are some of the kind of, I'm quite hot today. These are some of the problems I have. It can be like, if you really like someone, if you have love feelings for someone or love someone, it can be quite heart-wrenching. It can be quite upsetting and painful. And if you're a hyperromantic and you experience romantic attraction a lot, then or deeply for some people, then or person, then it can be very, very hard. It can, you know, like romantic relationships can be very dramatic sometimes. They can be very heartbreaking sometimes. They can be very painful. And so if you weigh this up with aromanticism, like I'm not aromantic, so I cannot say for definite how an aromantic would feel. I can only go by what aromantic people I know say. And aromantic people have their own struggles, right? Some aromantic people, they are desperate to feel romantic attraction. They just can't feel it. And in order for them to get into a relationship, they feel they should experience romantic attraction to reciprocate the romantic attraction from the other person. Also, they miss things like social cues, like as in if someone's flirting with them or if someone is attracted to them romantically, they'd miss those cues because they don't understand what romantic attraction looks like or how a romantic attracted person would behave. So it's kind of like, you know, aromantics have their own struggles. So in some ways, it's not fair to say, would you prefer to be aromantic or alloromantic, in the sense that they've got their own problems and struggles. Aromantics do, right? And if you get a demi-romantic and they fall deeply in love with someone, it's very difficult for them to love. They usually love one person at one time, in the experience I've had of meeting demi-romantics, and they, you know, it takes a long time for them to get over someone. It's a benefit if you're demi-romantic and the person who you fall in love with loves you back implicitly, because you've kind of got a really deep emotional connection. The demi-romantic is going to be very faithful usually to that person, and you know, it can work out really, really well if you've got an equally dedicated partner, because you know they're attached to that person loves them dearly, right? And so they're not, you know, they're going to be set up for life really, and not have to worry about going on dating sites and dating multiple people. They've kind of got their partner for life if they both reciprocate and if they both can be together, right? If they can't be together, it's, you know, it's very bad. So you know, a demi-romantic is on the aromantic spectrum. Like I said earlier, demi-romantic can only feel romantic attraction when it's a deep emotional bond has been formed, if and when. So it's kind of very rare and special to get that type of romantic attraction from a demi-romantic. So it's very precious, I think. I do like demi-romantics for that reason. They're kind of like different to me. Me having multiple attraction with multiple people, a demi-romantic tending to be really attracted to just one person. I prefer that kind of loyalty. But it's not with me, I'm not loyal, it's just I have the multiple attractions and it's really annoying. But when in a relationship, I'm very dedicated, faithful to the one person, you know? And so for me, like, the question, do I wish I was aromantic, right? Sometimes, for me personally, I think it would be easier if I was aromantic from the hyperromanticism point of view, because I think, you know, it could be less painful for me, less traumatic, less dramatic, you know. Probably I could focus on other things a lot more. There wouldn't be this drive in me to find someone for a relationship. I probably could like calm down maybe a bit more in a sense, and you know, I think I'd probably have less heartache, less pain in that way, right? And you know, I could be friends with a lot more people, because I can't be friends with someone who I have love feelings for. It's just too painful. And so to a certain extent, being a hyperromantic with no platonic attraction can be a little bit lonely, in the sense that I can't go and make tons of guy friends, because I'll get attached to them or attracted to them, not close friends, because I might start feeling romance for them. And so I have to kind of keep my distance, but I get on much better with guys to be friends with. So it's very difficult for me, you know? And if you think of all these romantic struggles that I have, like being aromantic, in theory, could be a lot better, because I wouldn't have all this drama, this upset, this pain, you know, in theory, right? But like I said, aromantics have their own struggles. Some desperately want to feel romantic attraction. They can't. And they, you know, and it really plagues them throughout their life. They're like, I wish I could feel this feeling. I wish I could experience it. Everyone talks about it as something most magnificent, and they can't feel it. Not all aromantics feel like that. Some do, right? And like I said, it's very hard for them. Like if a friend likes them more than a friend, they wouldn't usually pick up on that. They wouldn't usually understand that. You know, someone has to blatantly spell it out to them. Luckily, with me, with my personality, if I like someone, I blatantly tell them. I don't beat around the bush, right? I don't play these games. They're like, oh, text him later. Don't make sure you spend 10 hours not texting him, because if you don't text him, then he'll be thinking more of you and all this, you know, like if I want, I'm not texting the person all the time, but if I want to speak to the person, I'll text message them, right? Because I just don't play stupid games. And if a guy doesn't reciprocate, or is not going to be on the same page as me with that, it's like obviously not my guy, you know. I don't want to mess around. You know, I'm old enough or young enough to just like, I want a settled, committed relationship if I get into a relationship. None of this rubbish, you know. And so, you know, and your person you be in a relationship with should be your best friend, in my opinion. They should be your bestest ever friend, and you should think about that. And if you do think about them like that, you'd want to message them loads and be in their life and chat to them loads, because they'd just be your best friend, wouldn't they? So it'd be quite natural. And so, yeah, so for me, in terms of that aromantic question about do I ever wish I was aromantic? Sometimes I think it'd be easier if I was aromantic, but if I wasn't a romantic person, I'm a heteromantic, so just romantic attracted to guys. If I wasn't a romantic person, I wouldn't have the friends I have today. I probably may not even be doing this channel today. I wouldn't have, like, maybe even gone into the asexual community looking for answers, right? Because, you know, the reason that I started my asexual journey and helping you on this channel since October 2015 was because I went to a counsellor because I wanted a relationship without sex, but I still wanted romance and kissing. If I had not been romantic in nature, then I would not have gone to see that counsellor, because I wouldn't have had that problem if I didn't want a relationship. Bear in mind, some aromantic people want relationships, so that doesn't necessarily ring true. But in my case, I went there because I really strongly wanted a romantic relationship. I'm hyperromantic. And so yeah, and she said I would have to have sex if I wanted to keep a good guy. And I was absolutely disgusted. And so I went and Googled at home, I love kissing but not sex. Then it came up with asexuality. And then I saw there was other people on asexuality.org that didn't want sex also, but still wanted a serious, committed relationship, right, without sex. And I thought, thank God, that it's not just me, because I honestly thought I was the only one in the world, planet, and universe that didn't want sex. And so this was a revelation for me. I felt so good. So it's because I'm a romantic person that strongly desired a romantic relationship. That's how I came to the asexual community. And I met the guy who comes to take care of me while I've been having my broken ankle, which is still healing. He comes twice a week to look after me in terms of does all the food shopping for me. He does floor cleaning for me, usually washing up, sometimes cooking for me. He's amazing. Well, I met him through an asexual dating site originally. That's how we met, right? And we've become like, he's one of my best friends, right? My bestest asexual friend, Sam, I met them through my asexualized no sex dating group. I started the asexualized no sex dating group because lots of the, you know, the other groups on Facebook had different, not all of them had asexuals in it, despite the fact they say they're an asexual group. And the people that I started talking to from one of the groups, they had sexuals in it, people that wanted sex, and not every asexual doesn't want sex. And so I wanted just a group where I could get people who would be interested in a relationship that are asexual. They didn't want sex, and I thought maybe, just maybe, I might find my soulmate pops into one of my groups. I'm gonna have water, excuse me. So, but I also run 5 asexual groups now, 3 for dating, but I still haven't found my soulmate. So I had, obviously haven't. And they're not in my group. That's not how I found that person either. So anyway, but my bestest asexual friend, I met them in my no sex dating group. So I wouldn't have set that group up had I not been looking for a relationship, had I not been romantic and have a strong desire and drive to have a romantic relationship without sex. It wouldn't have happened. So I would not have now met my best friend, right? We are really good best friends. I've never trusted anyone in my life as much as I trust them. I trust them implicitly after just spending 3 days with them. It was a miracle, right? I've never had that level of trust with anyone before. Not any of my ex-boyfriends, no one, right? Just this person. He's my bestest friend, right? And so if I had been aromantic and not romantic, I wouldn't have started that group. If I have been aromantic and not romantic, I probably would, well, I wouldn't have met my other best friend that comes to look after me. Because we met on Asexuality, was a dating site, and I went on there to look for a relationship. First of all, I was very tentative, like, oh, hi, I'm asexual, I'm happy being single, because I was going to give up on relationships, because I thought I can't get one without sex, because of what the counsellor said, and I was just all about to give up. I thought I'm going to be alone, well, you know, and single forever. Not that I don't like my single life, I do, but I'm kind of wired still to want a relationship. I'm kind of like, feel that way quite a bit of the time, not all the time, some of the time, quite a bit of the time. And you know, I get relationship anxiety, so that's difficult. But the right person will be able to deal with that, I think, and not make me anxious, because he'll know what he wants and make me feel secure and happy. So that's good. And so, yeah, and so going back to, yeah, so basically I wouldn't have met my best friend Sam, wouldn't have met my other best friend Andy, you know, if I hadn't have wanted a romantic relationship. It wouldn't have happened. And even the people that I've met who come to my meetups, you know, I met one of the guys who comes to one of my some of my meetups. I met him through an asexual dating site originally, right? And he wouldn't be coming. I wouldn't know him right now. He's in my Asexualise Academy club, right? So the majority of people I know are from dating groups, dating sites, because I was pursuing a romantic relationship somewhat, obviously I'm connected to entrepreneurs and business guys, so they've got nothing really to do with the relationship. But although I do have aesthetic attraction for some of them because they're Indian, some of them are foreign. But it's like a lot of my closest friends I met on dating sites. I mean, I've got a friend from Facebook dating. As you know, I told you he's Indian. We've got an actual friend video chat this Thursday, which I'm really looking forward to because we talked about meeting up. He's in the UK, isn't asexual, but very respectful. And so I wouldn't have met him had I not gone on Facebook dating, trying to pursue a romantic relationship, right? And I've done a lot of videos on this channel. I've been able to help so many of you through telling my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If I hadn't gone through all these kind of traumatic romantic experiences, dating and relationship experiences, and been on different dating sites and stuff, and I hadn't been able to convey to you what happened and what to watch out for, you wouldn't have got so much help, right? I started writing asexual perspectives because I ended up on asexuality.org. And I found, like someone was criticising me because saying I can't say I'm a grey A because I don't have, I don't experience any sexual attraction whatsoever. But I call grey A grey areas, and I redefine grey A in this book to mean grey areas. Like, so I experience high levels of arousal. But I call grey A grey areas, and I redefine grey A in this book to mean grey areas. Like, so I experience high levels of arousal, sexual behaviour I have in some instances with kissing and dancing, but no sexual attraction. And so, that kind of instigated this book. And I think, again, like I said, if I hadn't been so interested in pursuing a relationship, maybe I wouldn't have written this book, because this is very geared towards love, life and sex and relationships, and I've got other books coming up, that are based on relationships much of the time. So it's very, very, it's kind of like, it's a huge part of my life. And also being a hyperromantic is part of my personality. I'm very bubbly, I'm very hyper, I'm very energetic. And I think, being a strongly romantic person is a huge part of that drive and that energy and kind of like, relentlessness I have and determination to succeed at whatever I do. And so I think, if I hadn't have been a romantic person, I've been aromantic, I wouldn't have the kind of much happier situation I have now. I wouldn't have the close friends I have. I wouldn't be making probably as many friends, maybe not. Although aromantics can have loads of friends because they don't experience platonic attraction, right? But they do experience platonic attraction usually. They don't experience romantic attraction. Aromantics experience platonic attraction. They don't experience romantic attraction. Get that right, Sandra. And so but for me, if I was have been aromantic, I wouldn't have had all these experiences. I wouldn't have the friends I have. I wouldn't be able to help you so much on this channel. So I can't be something I'm not. So I have to accept the way I am and think, yes, it's heartache, it's pain, but it makes me a stronger person. Being a romantic asexual as a hyperromantic makes me stronger because I'm able to get over relationship heartbreak and pain and move on with my life. I'm able to still be fully functional as a single being these days. I'm able to overcome, like people upsetting me. If a guy doesn't reciprocate the fact of how he feels about me, that's okay. I'm okay with it, right? And even if I go through some heartache and pain, I can always walk away from a guy if he's not treating me the way I want to be treated, So, however I feel about him, and that is really powerful, because I didn't used to be able to do that in the past. And so for me, being romantic is obviously what I'm destined to be. It's what I need to be. It's part of my personality. I couldn't wish to be something I'm not, because if I did, it would be a waste of a wish, and there's no point in wishing something you're not, you know what I mean? So I find, it can be very heartbreaking and painful, but I think also if you do find the right person to be in a romantic relationship, I think it can set your heart on fire and be a really beautiful, loving, caring, committed thing together where you develop and grow together and you go coast and coast like really best friends. I look forward to that day when I have that special someone who will, who will match my needs and I'll match them. And, I think it'll be good one day to have that. But I'm aware I have relationship anxiety, so it might be better just for me to stay single. But I think if I find the right person, that they will just be very understanding about that and caring. So I think it would work out better. And you know, like, to be in a relationship, you really need someone who knows what they want, is stable, strong, secure in what they want in a relationship, confident in what they want in a relationship, and really intentional, you know, very intentional. Because you can never ever be secure in a relationship with someone who doesn't know what they want, who provides an insecure foundation for a relationship, who's up and down all the time, can't commit, all this type of stuff. So I think sometimes with relationship anxiety, you have to ask yourself, is it actually you that's got a problem as in terms of relationship anxiety, or is it the person's making you anxious because of their behavior, their attitude, their ideology to relationships very different to yours, and they don't know what they want, they're non-committal, they're up and down all the time? Because you can't be stable with someone that's like on a seesaw, not knowing what they want. You just can't be stable like that. It's anxiety inducing. It would be anxiety inducing for anyone, whether they've got an anxiety condition or not, right? And so, you know, for me, pursuing a romantic relationship has been a very incredible journey. It kind of feels a bit weird that I was looking for that asexual Indian soulmate since 2014. I thought I'd found him, kind of all that love feelings went to this guy, and it's kind of like now it's like, okay, well, that's done. I still believe I have an Indian asexual soulmate out there, but it's kind of like all these feelings went to that guy, and it's kind of like, okay, that's kind of like done now. I've searched for 7 years, found the person, didn't work out, like, move on. Okay, like, what's next? Maybe just like concentrate on myself and my career and getting the Asexual Guide to Sex book finished, and, you know, just being calm, relaxed, non-anxiety induced, and just enjoying life again, I think, you know. And so, you know, I think asexuality is a journey of discovery. I think you can't wish to be someone you're not, because there's waste of life wishing to be someone you're not. Everything happens for a reason, you know, and one day some guy is going to be so romantic as well, and he's going to be like, wow, this girl is like my dream girl, she's so romantic, she's so hyper romantic, I absolutely adore it, I feel like I'm loved and cherished and in romance heaven all the time, and she's so kind and she loves me and she's dedicated to me. Because some guys really want that, you know, they're fed up of being with women who are cheaters, who are betray them, who mess them around, who play games, and they just want to settle down with a good quality girl for them, who adores them and who will be there for them and support them and guide them and be their best friend. I think more asexual person would be like that, you know, because that's what a relationship should be. It should be supportive, like for good times and bad times, and, you know, it should be like you're there to lean on each other, you're there to care about each other and support each other and understand each other. You know, that's what kind of loving's all about, you know. And I do, when I get into a relationship with someone, I have much more feelings and attractions for that one person, which is better for me really than, you know, but I'll still have attractions for other people because I can't help it. I don't like it, but I can't help it. And so I have to accept that about myself. But, you know, when I've got one person to focus on, it's kind of like, I'm settled now, my life's not so up and down with all that. But at the moment, you know, like, with my recovery from, like, soulmate disappointment, if you like, you know, but not disappointment in the sense that I'm free now to find the real soulmate in the future, you know. And so that's really good and healthy for me now. But, you know, I just like want to be calm and chill out and enjoy my single life now, and, you know, just be thankful and grateful that I'm smiling again and that things are going to get better in the future and everything's going to be good, right? So, you know, I can't wish to be, I sometimes think it'd be easier for me personally to be an aromantic asexual from the point of view of romance is a very big deal to me. It can be very painful, very emotional, but I wouldn't change me because I do love me. I think I'm very bubbly, energetic. I feel that the romance drive is there for a reason, and it's very motivational sometimes, very inspirational, very kind of like driven and determined to succeed in whatever I do. And I kind of really like that about myself. And, you know, I know a lot about dating relationships to help you because I've experienced so much in my life. If I hadn't had all those relationships, a lot of heterosexual relationships part of my life as well, if I hadn't had those, I wouldn't be able to help you. And so I really needed to have all these type of things happening in my life, you know. And so it just makes me stronger, and I'm really proud of that. And so, you know, I can't wish to be something I'm not. And like I said, aromantics have their own struggles as well. So I feel blessed to be me. I feel that I'm given the gift, that hyperromanticism is a gift in the sense that, you know, even if it's for a short time, I can love someone and that person can know they actually had someone who loved them implicitly, if I did, which, you know, if I full love someone, I do. It's different to just love feelings. And, you know, you can give that gift to someone, even if they don't reciprocate or don't stay in your life. It's still a beautiful thing to be able to give someone. And then if you need to walk away, you need to walk away, right? Or if they just don't want you in their life anymore, you know, that's the way it is, right? You have to just part. Sometimes people are in your life for just a small amount, but the people who matter will stay in your life forever. That's what I always say, right? The people who matter and really care about you, really love you, will always be there. That's just the way it is, right? And the people that don't, won't, and that's okay. Some people believe we have multiple soulmates. I've always believed that I just have one ultimate soulmate. Obviously, I can't have met that person yet. I thought I did, but I was wrong. And so, you know, yeah, I just have to look forward to the fact that there is someone else out there for me. At the moment, I just need to focus on me and being single again and be happy being single, you know, being free, being single, calmer now, and everything's as good as it can be, right? And so, yeah, I'm glad that I'm a hyperromantic in lots of ways. I'm glad that I'm definitely a romantic person in lots of ways. I think sometimes it'd be better if I did experience some platonic attraction, but then when I think about it, it kind of like repulses me a bit, the idea of experiencing platonic attraction, because I kind of think it's a bit of a cop out for me now, because it's kind of like I'm used to kind of like jumping that stage. It's kind of like, why put yourself through all that platonic stuff when you can actually get to the crux of the matter, and if the person reciprocates, they do. If they don't, that's fine, and you can move on quicker. So in some ways, you could look at it like that if you have the platonic attraction thing, then you have romantic feelings. Then it's kind of like you've already developed this platonicness, then you have romantic. It's kind of like another stage. And it's kind of like that could be longer time for heartbreak and heartache. You could argue, though, it's better because you can get to know the person better, so that you might even not get to the romantic relationship stage. But if you think I skip through the platonic attraction stage, I kind of can get to the crux of the matter quicker, so I can find out if that person's suitable for me, not quicker. And then if not, we can move on with lives quicker. So it's less painful in that way. So there is a plus to it, which is kind of strange to think that, but there is. So there's plus to everything, and I think you need to just be your beautiful self. I think me having different attractions for different people maybe is meant to have happened, because then I can understand asexuals on different parts of the asexual spectrum, and I wouldn't have that insight and knowledge had I not be able to experience attraction from different attractions for different people at the same time, but different attractions for different people, if you know what I mean. Yeah, so I think it's good that I am the way I am. I think, you know, I just have to accept and love me for who I am, and the right guy will love me also in the future. But in the meantime, I can just enjoy being single and happy again and free, and woohoo, it's good. So anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you for now. I hope you found this video useful, helpful, insightful in any way. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. I really, really would love to hear from you in the comments below what you think of this video. And, you know, do you want to share? Are you actually an aromantic person that wishes you were romantic? Or are you hyperromantic like me that gets fed up sometimes of being hyperromantic, but realizes at the end of the day that it's a beautiful thing, because we're every quirkiness, every difference is our beauty, right? So anyway, I'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Share this video with any friends you think may benefit from it, and I'll see you on the next video live stream. Take care. Lots of love. Thanks, Liam, for being here, and everyone else. Lots of love. Take care. Bye. Bye.